Hey everyone, this is Dan again from Ghost, doing the first live Ghost talk show of the summer. Or actually, we're in the fall right now. But obviously, the summer was so busy, entertaining, and do a lot of stuff. I get really busy around my little farm kind of property, so don't really get a chance to do a lot during the summer months. It just gets just way too busy. So we're getting back on track right now. We got a bunch of stuff coming up, and I will be talking to Mark and Cheryl again, once again tonight, of the Nightwatchmen Investigative Team. And we are going to share some of our most profound experiences. No holes barred, no everything unplugged. Whatever experiences we had in the past, the ones that were most profound to us is what we're going to share with you. You guys are more than welcome to ask any questions you want, anything about the paranormal. And myself, Mark, and Cheryl will answer your questions as best as we can. So please welcome Mark and Cheryl. Hey guys.
Hey, hi everybody.
How's it going?
Oh, it's going.
Oh,
it's a good fall night.
Yeah. It's a fall night, right? Yeah. So let me check my notes here. So tonight we're just gonna have it's not gonna be any kind of specific stuff. It's unplugged. We're just gonna have a general conversation. I did mention on the introduction that if anybody that's watching live wants to ask either myself or you guys a question, anything has to do about the paranormal, please by all means type it in the comment section. I will post it up on the live feed and we'll answer the questions. So I know you guys, we haven't done much in the summer months. I guess you're busy, Cheryl's busy, we're all busy. I'm always busy entertaining, drinking around my pool, so I'd never have time to go hunt ghosts and stuff. So you didn't hear that. I didn't say that, but anyways. Yeah.
It's the day job.
I think everybody does that in the summer months, right?
I think a lot of people don't understand too is this time of year kicks up the public going to places we go to. So you spend most of your night trying to do a paranormal investigation, but you spend most of your night trying to run off people that are curious.
Yeah, that's true.
Especially places that are out in the middle of nowhere. So, we always want to see a ghost, but when you see a person and it's a real person, and you're like, well, we got to get them out of here, or what's going on?
Yeah. You know what those are called, Mark?
What?
They're called groupies.
Yeah.
There are fans. Actually, I think at one point we called our fans ghosties, which I think it's okay if it's a child, I guess, ghosties, but to call an adult person a ghostie, it just doesn't work.
Yeah, they don't like that.
No. Like you guys would be like a night watchy.
Yeah, a watchy. Yeah,
a watchy. We got a bunch of watchies. Okay, so check my notes again. So tonight, so you guys did add some new equipment lately. So what is it you added as far as equipment? I know we talked a couple of times, but you added a couple of nice pieces.
Well, in our last investigation out there in Picton, I really thought we needed a thermal and more video cameras. We had a great experience there in that room, and we'll probably talk about that later. But at the end of the day, you got to have a thermal. With what was going on in that kitchen, we really needed to put a thermal because we had two REM pods going on simultaneously. Four people 20 feet away. And we didn't have a handheld because our handheld was live streaming from another area of the building. Yeah. So we weren't filming, and so the second thing we added was a full spectrum 4K camera.
Yeah. And, wow. That's going to be good. I think full spectrum is going to be, that's a good addition for sure. I think we need to see in that kind of lighting range.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. And that's what we're trying to look at. The thermal I picked up fits in your pocket. FLIR came out with a real neat one. It transmits to the iPhone and you can record off that. I'm working on the tech side because obviously I'm old and I'm technologically challenged.
We both are, Mark. We both are.
I know. Yeah, that's why we're looking for some young guy that really loves tech.
It's like somebody just coming out of college or something who wants to do investigations for free and not get paid for it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. If you want to send us your name and number, please do.
Yeah. If you're a techie there, we need a techie in our group.
Yeah. If you get along with us older people. Yeah. Having a thermal has always been something that piqued my curiosity, just because you would have a room with a cold spot. And, usually it's the window. 90% of the time it's the window leaking. But that one time, if you got something on that thermal, that'd be cool.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. I've never actually. I have like a more lower budget kind of thermal, but I've never actually caught anything on it. I guess like with any piece of equipment, it doesn't really catch stuff all the time. You have to have it at the right time, at the right place, at the right moment, and then suddenly you capture something.
yeah, I've always resisted thermals because I've seen on TV where they reflect a lot off of walls and mirrors.
Yeah.
But so it's a neat tool, but if you don't do the research into it, as far as how paranormal investigators pros and cons,
Yeah.
that's really the problem with thermal is people will actually say, "Oh, it's a ghost," and it's them standing. You know, you reflect
I
the
guess
heat.
that's what you would call like false positives, right? We think it's something, but it's. But that's the whole point of debunking as well, right? Is you got to make sure that what you're capturing is not some kind of contamination from another investigator or somebody in the group.
Well, exactly. Like somebody standing up against a wall or having placed their hand long enough on a
Yeah.
wall will leave
And
it.
then you get the heat signature from the thermal.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So I know we have one viewer right now. Well, we have 5 viewers, but I know Rhiannon commented. Rhiannon Miller follows us a lot, follows, I think, both of us a lot. She is the sister of Selena Miller. I think she's one of our fans as well. I think, no, not the sister, maybe daughter. Rhiannon, I'm sorry if I made a mistake, but I think you're the daughter of Selena or sister. Anyways, correct me if I'm wrong. Anyways, welcome, Rhiannon, and thanks for tuning in. Also, the other viewers that we have right now. Okay, sorry about guys. I'm coming out of a stupid cold, and I'm talking like a horse right now, and I'm just really kind of almost lost my voice earlier today. Okay, so now I know that you guys now are pretty much your team. It's pretty much just you and Cheryl at this point, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think with me, I think we went both through. Both teams went through kind of a transition where we started our teams from scratch, and we've added a few members right now. So I know that Darlene, that used to be with us, is kind of like with both of us now. She's kind of like in the middle, that middle person who kind of cooperates with us with both teams, and she will be there on our, which we'll talk about later, our public investigation on October 22nd.
Yeah, I totally enjoy Darlene. She's a great investigator. She has a lot of fun, and she gets tickled with sometimes my EVPs, and what she brings to the table.
I'm glad you said EVPs.
Yeah, my EVPs.
Tickled.
Yeah, she gets tickled when she did a session with me at the Rail Museum, but it's fun. It's fun with somebody like passionate in the paranormal.
Yeah.
To be around people like that.
Yeah, and she is passionate. When she was more part of our team, I never really had a big issue, any kind of major issues with Darlene. I mean, she was a good investigator. Hey, Dave Gibb is online. Hey, Dave. Thanks for tuning in. Dave is here. The man, the legend, Dave Gibb.
Legend. Yes.
The legend, Dave Gibb. Thanks for tuning in, Dave.
You gotta give him a prop. It's Chaps.
Chaps. Well, Dave Gibb, yeah, okay, Chaps. Dave Gibb from Chaps is actually just tuned in and is watching our live feed right now. So we've had a lot of transitions with teams. I think, again, with members, is that sometimes personalities can clash. Sometimes our views can be different. And we know in the paranormal, views can differ from one end to the other. Everybody's got a different way of investigating. And there really isn't like a wrong way, I would say. Unless you don't know how to use your equipment and you're totally using it the wrong way, then that's a problem. But I think investigative methods, everybody's got different methods of doing stuff, and I think it's all legit as long as you know how to operate your equipment and you know how to do things to a certain extent.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel. It's funny because people ask me, are these guys good or are they bad? How do we know? We're not. There's no. When you talk about scientific method, there's no set scientific method, I guess.
They call it pseudoscience, right? It's not scientific method is. I mean, when you think of the scientific method, I think I had looked it up, and it's like a process, right? It's actually, I had a picture of that somewhere. I think I had a picture of the scientific method process. somewhere. I don't know where I put that. Anyways, it was like a circle, and it showed, you try something, then you test it, then you try to duplicate it, and so on and so on. It goes around in a circle. If it doesn't work, you start over again. It's kind of like a flow chart in computer programming. That's the old stuff. But and then you just keep trying over and over again, and try to debunk it if you can, and find an actual kind of solution or a cause for what is happening or what you possibly captured.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
I think we're just trying to find people who are like-minded, who believe in the same methods of trying to actually capture evidence wherever possible, because as we know is so rare and so, I don't know. It's we're lucky if we actually get something that we can say is a intelligent response, for example.
Yeah,
90% are.
Yeah, they're hard to come by. I know Dave just mentioned there in the comment section that he uses the pragmatic method logic. I know he talked to me about that at one point, but I kind of forgot. So, Dave, if you want to kind of type in there in the comments and let me know again what that method, your approach is again, and I'll mention it here online so other people can hear it or know what the pragmatic method, logic method is. Okay.
That's something to talk about, like working together as teams. So what's nice is you actually respect the other team, though. When you book an investigation with another team, you got to respect their doing the same thing, but you got to be quiet too.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, it's all different ways of investigating, and I think there's some wrong ways of doing it. I've seen some pretty lame kind of things, but I don't,
There's
but
a son doing this right now that really bothers me.
Who?
A rock star son on TV, but I won't name names.
Okay.
It's hard to watch.
Okay, yeah. Well, there's so many shows on TV now, and you kind of go, seriously? Okay.
Well, it's something I like to do, like at our public investigation. I do like to show people how you can have a walkie in your pocket and set off all of our devices. And
a walkie-talkie will fire off it'll make noise on the recorders. It'll fire off EMF meters. It'll cause all sorts of distortion. I still like to use them. Usually they'll fire something. If you're pressing the button and talking, it'll fire the equipment off or cause static and cause interference. I like to use them for safety, for communication. It's so easy to communicate and coordinate with the other teams and to see where everybody is. If somebody gets hurt, at least they can call out and actually we can go to them if something happens. So I like to use wonky two-way radios for that reason alone. I do know that they can cause a lot of interference and a lot of problems with equipment, but that's something when you're using them that you have to keep in mind.
My beard's all messed up.
Yeah,
it's all messed.
My hair's messed up.
Your hair's messed up. Look at mine. I need a haircut.
Right.
I said I look like Elvira.
Oh gosh.
Okay, so we have Darlene. That's kind of like she's kind of like the in-between person right now. She's kind of cooperating with both of us. And you and Cheryl are by yourself. I'm kind of like by myself, but I also added a few team members in my team, which is Mateo and Lawrence, and they have worked out really well, actually. They're very dedicated. Unfortunately, they have very busy schedules at work. They work a lot of the weekends, but I have to give them credit. They've come out on a Saturday night to do an investigation when they had to work at 7 o'clock on Sunday morning. I personally, at my age, I guess they're young. They can do it. At my age, I wouldn't be able to do that. But I appreciate the fact that they put in that effort to actually come to investigations. I did tell them tonight if they wanted to just pop into the live feed and kind of just, chit chat a bit, but they're not feeling well either. So I think they're coming out of a cold as well. So I told them just watch it on Facebook. So for me, really, my only team members are Mateo, Lawrence, and there's Connie. Connie is a correctional officer who was in Alberta. She's back in Ontario. She's very busy as well. She does want to participate in investigations, but of course, her schedule being a correctional officer, kind of like Wes Coleman, schedules are tight. Weekends are tight because that's when she's new. So she's working all the bad shifts, I guess, which would be on weekends. But I'm sure that Connie at one point will participate in one of our investigation or events at one point.
Yeah, we've got one or two members who are on the side, like Estelle, who's been a longtime friend and photographer, but she's also got a very busy schedule. So we try to bring her out, but sometimes it just doesn't work. So
sometimes it doesn't work.
Yeah.
But we still make things happen no matter what.
So
okay,
even if it's us out in the middle of nowhere.
Hey,
Even if we're out in the middle of nowhere at 2 a.m.,
Oh, we got to make it happen. Freezing our asses off at the PRC paintball facility. That was nasty. I usually never put my hoodie on because I don't want to mess up my hair, right? But that night I was like, forget the hair. I'm putting my hoodie on. It was too friggin' cold, but it was awesome, that place. I told Wes that we'd love to do it again.
Oh, absolutely.
100%. There's a lot to be done there. I'd like to check into that one about 5 in the afternoon and start.
Yeah. I wouldn't do it at this time of year though. It's just too goddamn
I
cold.
would.
It's too goddamn cold. You would, yeah.
I
Okay.
would.
Okay.
I love
Yeah.
it.
Well, you know what? We'll sit in our cars, Mark, and we'll watch you.
You'll see me run out by myself probably.
I'll be with Ghost in there at their nerve
and
center.
nice and warm in the car. And hey, Mark, have fun.
Exactly. Love you. Bye-bye.
Well, you know, the behind the scenes of PRZ was pretty good. I got pulled over on the way home. And
you told me about that, yeah.
The police officer said the best thing an investigator ever heard was that she said, "What were you out doing?" And I said, "Well, I'm a paranormal investigator." And she interrupted me. She goes, "Is that even a thing?" It's like, well, let's open the trunk up and I'll show you all those cases.
Yeah.
Oh, whoa. It's all the cases and everything. She believes you after, right?
Yeah. So she believed me afterwards, but at first she was like, "Yeah, right."
Right. You're paranormal investigators.
She dropped the fine a little.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Okay. Well, that's good. That's good. So she likes paranormal investigators then to drop the fine a bit.
Yeah.
Well, I told her I'm old and it's 5:30 in the morning. The sun's coming up.
I'm tired and I want to go to bed.
Yeah.
Okay. So, members. So we have me on my side. It's me, Mateo, and Lawrence. Your side is you and Cheryl, and kind of like Darlene is the in-between kind of person right now. Now, are you guys thinking of maybe adding some more people to your team eventually?
Eventually, but we're going to be very picky. It's got to be a fit. The thing is, it's not that I don't want people to not become investigators.
Mm-hmm.
I want them to understand to kind of be similar, to fit into what we do and be on the same page as us.
Yeah, exactly. And I think through the years, through my now about 12 years of having a team, it's finding the right connection and the right type of person. Most of the investigators that were in my team were good, but at one point down the road, somehow we split ways. Either our views changed, either they thought I was just a bleep, and they said, "Screw you, I'm going to start my own team." But anyways. Again, I do appreciate all the people that went through our ranks, no matter what our feelings are now, what our differences are now. I do appreciate the ones that went through our ranks. But like you guys, I want to keep my team or my side small as well, and get the right people in.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And my biggest thing is, like, a perfect day would be the investigation ends and everybody takes one camera times 9 hours of footage and actually goes through it within 2 days. You know,
it seems like that was the problem too. Is it was a lot of the review. I mean, I can't say I reviewed a little bit, but I can't say I've reviewed enough. There's a lot of the investigations that we've done together, the stuff I have not reviewed yet, and that's my fault. Just too busy, but I need to get my my shit together, to put it, very simple. Unplug. Not for under 18. So I need to get my shit together and actually review this stuff.
Well, we're in the same boat. And the thing is that I know some people may not recognize is that we all have day jobs on top of doing this. So we have other commitments. We have the regular 9 to 5, which, has its own stressors and commitments and expectations that sometimes those jobs too also require us to work extra hours or put in extra effort. So trying to get that much brain capacity out of one person for 1 week.
I know. I find, like, today I had a hard day. It was a tough day at work. It was a long day. Somebody dropped the tailgate of the truck on my leg. It hurt like a son of a gun. I got a bruise there. So when I got home, I was like, you know what? I just want to lie on my chair. I don't feel like doing a ghost talk show. But once I got into it, I said, no, I'm going to set up and I'm going to get through this. I got to pull through. But my leg is killing me right now. But anyways, that's it's on the side. So we were talking about, now eventually, like tonight, we were going to talk about our most profound experiences that we've had in the paranormal. So I do eventually want to get that in the next 5 or 7 minutes.
Okay.
But something I think that people out there need to know, where our teams are kind of like it's kind of like a merger or something like that. You know, it's still Ghost, it's still Night Watchmen, but it seems that we do a lot of stuff together. Like every time I have an investigation, I call you guys, and vice versa. So it's like we're together, but we both have different names. But it's kind of like a merger, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Two teams.
Yeah. It works because you spent so much money on your shirts, and we've spent so much money on our shirts. Okay.
I haven't bought any shirts in a long time. Like I have old shirts.
I've
But I
got
saw
some.
your new ones, your new blue ones. You want to plug them there, Mark? You want to show them your new
Oh yeah,
shirts?
yeah.
There you go.
Well, we only got a few, but
There you go. They are for sale for $100 a pop.
Yeah, this is a Night Watchman shirt. People asked for them, so we had them printed up.
Okay, I gotta get some done from my side too.
It's kind of fun. But no, I mean it's good to have like what I think we merge together, we blend good together, and that's
yeah. I think that's the important thing. And whether we have different names or what, it doesn't matter, because in the end, when we're investigating, it just works out perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we do. We've had a lot of good memories in the last year. You know.
Oh shit, yeah, tons of different places. The Railway Museum, the Heritage Museum, the PRZ, the toy store, and what was it? Was that in Smith Falls, the toy store?
The toy store,
Smith Falls, yeah.
Still my favorite. And by the way, if anybody's wants to know, the doll is sold. And
that creepy doll has been. So who bought it again? Who bought the doll?
Some poor bastard.
Well,
some poor bastard who's bought the haunted doll.
The owner told him over and over. He said, "By the way," and he told everything the doll happened that night, and they wanted it more. So
okay,
it's got a good home.
I'm sure.
Probably flying to Zach Bagans Museum right now.
Oh, probably. Yeah, we'll probably see it on one of his episodes at one point.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay, so let's go. So people know that. I think people are pretty. They know that our teams are kind of like merging, and we're always working together, and that's fine. I think we work well, and I think we have a lot of stuff coming up, but we'll get to that later. Yeah. Now, tonight was about our most profound experience. So I'll let you guys go first. Mark, what in the paranormal? What would be your most profound experience? Like, what is it you experienced that really either floored you, dropped you on your ass, and said, "Holy shit, I can't believe this just happened"? And so, like, what's the biggest and most profound experience you've had?
Well, I lived in a house and was going through a divorce. My father, who is not by all means wouldn't believe in this stuff. So the basement flooded. Long story short, I worked a job where I couldn't call in sick. I had to go to work. And my dad came over and says, "I'll take care of the basement while you're gone." I was like, "Thank God." So I went to work, and he called me like 2 hours later, and he says, "I'm out of your house." He goes, "The bathroom door keeps opening and shutting upstairs, and the light keeps getting turned on upstairs, and I can't hear this." So I went home. I was like, "Okay, I'll go home." And, I never thought nothing of it. And so like about 4 days later, I picked up a car for a friend. And I decided I would wax it after I got off work at 10 p.m. because I had nothing better to do at the time. So I'm waxing the car and I get it done. The garage door is open and I pull up my iPhone to take a picture just to send them to say, "Look at your car, it's beautiful." And there's like this worm going up and down through my garage, through the windshield.
A worm?
It looked like a worm. Literally, it's a tubular thing. And I got the photo. I don't have it with me, but I'll get it when Cheryl tells her.
You'll have to show me that.
But it looked like a worm going completely through it, and it was a Dodge Magnum. So this is a 15-foot car into my house. So I was like, okay, and you're standing there with your camera, and I'm like, okay, is it smoke? Because I smoked at the time, so I hadn't smoked in 10 minutes. I get the super high beam light, but as I keep turning the camera, it starts fading out. And then it lights back up, and then it fades out and goes away.
Okay. So you don't think that was maybe some kind of contamination in the air, like like insect or something like that? No?
No. And there was nothing in there that could have done it, which is the weird part, because I took a flashlight to the visible eye. You couldn't see it. Mm-hmm. You could not see it with the visible eye. And I used a flashlight because in your garage, I had a flashlight for it. So I was like, okay, I'll go to bed. I was like, no big deal. I'll go to bed. So shut the garage up. Kind of, you got the heebie-jeebies, your hair standing on your body, and you're like, this is weird. And as soon as I go to bed, my bedroom door had the loudest thud on it that I've ever heard. Mm-hmm. And the American in me versus Canadian. When I lived in the United States then, I grab a 45 and I head out. What's going on?
Are you going to try to shoot a ghost?
Yeah, it's like, well, what's going on in my house? You know, because this sounded like somebody come down the hallway and slam my door. So, you know, I go through that and it's nothing. So I go back to bed, and in the middle of the night, I woke up just with my back burning right in the center of it. And I went to the shower, and there was the 3 claw marks from the top of my ears all the way down to my rear. And
they had the claw mark, the three like
3 lines, just
3 lines again. That seems to be a common thing.
And you know, it was eerie because I'm looking at it and I'm like, it really hurt. But me being me, I'm 6'6" and a big guy, and so I'm doing this, trying to say, was I asleep and did this to myself? And I didn't. So that night, I mean, it was like finally at 4 a.m, because I went back to bed. At 4 a.m, I just covered myself up and I said, "Do whatever the hell you got to do tonight. I need some sleep." And I covered my head up with a blanket, went to bed.
Did it happen again after?
Yeah, it happened once I started dating Cheryl, and she got to see the photos of it.
Okay, you'll have to show me those. I've never seen them.
Yeah, it was multiple times. So this house, when I talked to my neighbor, because you know you get "I'm sorry you're getting divorced" talk by your neighbor, and he said that every couple that lived in that house got divorced.
So there must have been something there, just
negative
that just affects people.
Something that just affects people negative. And you know, I moved up to Canada and got out of the house, but there was multiple instances there. My daughter never wanted to be there alone. So
no. Holy shit! Cool. That is creepy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Interesting story. Okay, Cheryl, what is it that really kind of knocked you over once? Like your most profound paranormal experience?
Well, I too lived in a house that had a lot of activity, and it was affecting my children. So they were hearing voices. When my sisters they were hearing voices above their heads because they would, stay in the guest room, which was eventually, my son's room. And they would talk about that there was a couple they could hear having a conversation. Well, with my kids started talking about the man in the hat in the corner of the basement. So things started getting a very weird vibe in the house for me too, because of course, going all mama bear on there that nobody or nothing is going to touch or hurt my kids. I was always on a high alert. And one day in particular, I had came home from working out, and I had gone towards my bedroom, and all of a sudden my bedroom door opened slightly and then slammed really hard in my face. And I just remember saying to myself, "What?" Like obviously the big WTF. But I said it out loud. I said, "That's enough. I don't know who you are, but not in my house, not on my watch."
Yeah.
But it was the fact that it was affecting my kids that really resonated and hit home with me, that I was going to have to do something more, or potentially to allow my kids to sleep at night.
Yeah. So this was the house was haunted with something going on inside the house.
Most definitely. And I had friends come over who were sensitive in nature, who confirmed the same feelings. And then said the man in the hat in the corner of the basement, and the shadow man, was the biggest concern.
Did you actually ever see it, or was it just your kids?
I did see something in the back corner. I wasn't able to confirm what it was, but both of my sisters who lived in different areas, who came over at separate times, both confirmed that they had the same experience in that room.
In that room. Okay. Yeah. And I think that's why we do paranormal investigations, is because people have experiences like that. And that's why we do it as well, because we've had experiences and we can't explain it. And, then you try, like you said, maybe that I see something from the corner of my eye. Am I imagining it? Is it, some kind of weird lighting going on? But some experiences you have are so I wouldn't say problematic, but so profound that you know there's no explanation for it. It's not a lighting, it's not some car going by outside. There's something that really went on inside that house,
Yeah.
and you just cannot explain it.
And like I said, when you suddenly have a fear of, the safety of your family, someone else, you have safety for yourself. That's one level of fear. But if you have fear for safety for I said for your children, then
Yeah.
suddenly everything gets elevated, and
Mhm.
it's a whole new ball game.
Yeah, we all have kids. I have kids of my own. Mind you, they're my son's 36, my daughter's 29. So I mean, they're old enough. But I mean, it's that defense. You still become defensive, right? When you think their life is in danger, or they're troubled by something.
Yeah, exactly. And I knew my son was messing around with things that he really shouldn't have been uh,
Hmm.
in that
Was he
realm.
playing with the Ouija board?
No, actually,
No.
he found an old copy of my Necronomicon, um,
Okay.
and had been busy trying to fill in the blanks, because I mean it was a redacted version, but it was he. Both of my kids had that. Um, so that inquiring mind, that
Hmm.
curiosity of that world from a very young age. So
Yeah. Yeah. And it's nice to see that a lot of actually there's a lot of people watching. Just want to say hi to Monique Mass Mason, say hi to Selena, say hi to Jose Anne Seguin who is watching. Just want to make sure that we acknowledge that they are watching. So we are not ignoring you. We are just chit chatting.
everybody.
Hey, everybody.
So actually, we have a question here or a comment by Selena. Hold on, Selena here. My daughter Rhiannon. Well, I guess you guys can read it. My mother was playing with her in a marching band. Oh, okay, that's interesting. Thanks for sharing that, Selena. So somebody was leading the marching band, but not everybody was seeing it. Is that what it is?
Okay.
She was 3 years old, so her daughter was seeing
Yeah.
this person at the age of 3. Well, they say kids can see much more stuff than we can, right? Because
Oh,
they're
yeah.
not inhibited like we are as adults.
Yep.
It's
Yeah,
very,
thanks. Yeah,
very
pretty cool.
common.
Thanks for sharing that, Selena. So we have another comment here by Margaret Sawyer. We had a CD player that held multiple CDs at random times during the day and night. You would hear it turn on and search through the CDs and play a minute or so of a specific song, always the same one, then turn off. It was in the bedroom, and you could be alone in the house in a different room and or sound asleep. When it would happen, we got rid of the CD player. LOL. Could be. Could
We've,
could this be maybe just a malfunction? Thanks for sharing that, Margaret. So we're gonna chit chat about that a bit. So could it be maybe just a malfunction with the CD player that it would actually just always jump to the same song and just start playing at random moments during the night and day?
yeah, it's kind of interesting to think about that. It could, and you can't say it can't. Um, it's like putting it when you put it to the method. I guess is we're looking for science.
Yeah.
Was there a time? Was there a certain, did it come on every day at one? You
Mm-hmm.
know,
Mm-hmm.
such as like with EMF, we've got a RIM or Eddie Plus, so
Yeah.
it logs, the data logger logs. So if
Mm-hmm.
we get EMF at Fort Henry is a good prime example. You will get
Yeah.
EMF in one corner in the courtyard every minute and 30 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Mm-hmm.
not paranormal because every minute and 30 seconds, it's like an alarm clock. So
Yeah. Yeah.
if there was some way to set up those old changers, some of those old changers, I had one that you could set up the time on it and
Yeah.
actually by song. But for
So
somebody,
it could be a malfunction. We're not saying, Margaret, that it
No.
wasn't some kind of
no.
paranormal event, but of course, as ghosts investigate or paranormal investigators, we question things. That's what we do, right?
But I would like to investigate it because if that's kind of cool. On the opposite end, if the ghost is trying to communicate you through a song, that's
Yeah,
neat.
yeah.
That would
No,
be,
I've had an experience like that with in the past with a specific song that when I used to live at this, not I wouldn't say haunted house, but I think my wife would say, yeah, they're probably haunted. But anyways, I know that music can make a connection with the haunting. That's for sure. So, what else do we have here? No random times throughout the day. So it was always Margaret. Was it always it was random times, or always the same time? I think you mentioned, right? Let me see that her other comment here was that was it always the same one. Was it always day and night? Oh, random times. Okay, it was random times. All right. Okay. All right. So back to our profound experience. I guess this would be my turn now.
Yes.
For profound experience. Now, I think I talked to people before about my experience at the Trinity Inn, where I had a spirit attachment, I guess you could say, and I went through a real lapse of time and parts of my memory I lost. I went like, it was just bizarre. I think I've already talked about that one. That was just some kind of attachment that kind of attached itself to me, and it was the Trinity Inn was an extremely bad experience for me. I felt almost like violated, that something came inside of me and just kind of took me over. And a lot of my investigators at the time they just went, okay, Dan, you're not normal. I had to go outside for 2 hours just to kind of recompose myself. But that's a story that I've already told. So one thing, kind of like you, Cheryl, the house I used to live on a house on Ashburn Crescent in Nepean, Ontario. And a lot of weird stuff went on in that house. And that's what spurred it on. Like for me to start a team. This was back in 2001, 2002. That's what said, okay, I gotta investigate this stuff. One of them was the candle holder that flew across the shelf and it hit the wall across the living room. That was weird. But my weirdest, most profound experience was in that house where I was sitting in the kitchen. And the way my dining room was set up is that where I'm sitting right now, the kitchen was behind me, and in front of me was the living room window. So I could see the stove light above the stove in the living room window behind me. Well, I'm just sitting there talking to my friend on the phone. I'm alone in the house. My roommates are gone. And I see this thing in the living room window walking behind me, crouched over and staring at my back. And it was not you. It was not a human figure. And I got so friggin' scared that I actually got up. I ran in my carport and I stayed in my carport for 2 hours until a couple of my roommates showed up. And they said, "What the hell are you doing?" I said, "You're not going to believe what happened. Like this, there was something." And I saw it. I wasn't drinking. I don't do drugs. I saw this thing walk behind me and I saw the reflection in front of me in that living room window, and it scared the crap out of me. And ever since then, I know there's something there. I don't know what the hell walked behind me, but it wasn't one of my roommates because they weren't there. They arrived later. And this thing walked behind me and it almost looked like non-human, crouched over, long arms. And it was just kind of like this. And it was just looking at me as it was walking behind me. And right now I'm still getting goosebumps about it. I go, holy shit. Yeah, I ran out of that house really quick. That was probably the scariest moment I've ever had. Was that Trinity was one of them, but this was probably one of the other ones. This was just really insane, and that's why I started doing paranormal investigation, was because of that one was just insane. I know I saw something there, and unfortunately, I had no equipment to capture, but it was really cool experience.
I think
So
we all have roommate
yeah.
experiences. When I lived in, I had moved into an apartment with roommates here in Ottawa. We stupidly decided to pull out a Ouija board and see if we could connect with spirit.
Mm-hmm.
So we did.
Yeah, been there, done that. Got the T-shirt, and
yeah.
I know it's a toy, but it's kind of like a tool. I mean, it's just a tinky little board with a plastic thing, but it's the. I think it's not the board itself; is the act of doing it. You don't really need to use a board. I mean, when I was first doing Ouija boards, I was using a cardboard box with marker on the box and a little cardboard little pointer, and we had some really weird shit happen. Of course, I'm very skeptic about it. Going, okay, must have been this, something else, or whatever. But it's a tool. It's really not something that you should be messing around with.
No. And I mean, after that experience, I mean, we had things like the candles in the room suddenly shot up in light, but later on, my bedroom door started opening and closing by itself in the middle of the night. Yeah. My keys would suddenly appear in really strange places, like the juice jug in the kitchen, in the fridge.
It was in the juice jug.
Yeah, I was like, why would I put my apartment keys in the bottom of the juice jug in the fridge?
No, that's kind of weird. Why would you do that?
Yeah,
That's
but
bizarre.
there were a number of occurrences like that I just could not explain. Which no, it just makes you you ask more questions. Where why is this happening? Where did this come from?
Yeah.
In our attempt to connect with the spirit, we thought we connected with a young man who was run over by a cart during the when it was Bytown.
Yeah.
And he was he said hit and run over by a coal cart was the
Okay.
answer that we got.
Okay. Yeah, that's weird. I mean, we know that stuff exists. It's just we need to capture more of it.
Yes.
So we have a comment here by Monique Mask Mason, and to answer your question, Monique, yes, it is the Trinity Inn in Gananoque where I had that really bad experience where I felt like I was taken over by something. I wasn't myself. Ended up almost nauseous outside. So one of my team members pulled me out, and it was just a weird experience. So yes, it is the Trinity Inn in Gananoque where I had that experience. So, anyways, here she's got another comment. My grandfather, who lost a leg to gangrene, died some 50 years ago. When my son was 4, he was chatting to himself. When I asked who he was talking to, he said, "Your grandpa with one leg." He never saw a photo, and we never talked about grandpa to him. That is weird. So he actually saw the grandpa with the one leg, but he never knew about it. So how do you explain that? That's weird. They say children can just see stuff that we just can't.
Oh, absolutely. My daughter told me all about my grandpa, my grandpa, who she never met once, and there are no details that she could never have known. So same idea.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, they say that as we grow older, as and this is something I kind of, if I would have ever had young kids again, and they'd say, if they say, "Daddy, Daddy, there's a monster in my closet," I wouldn't actually just say it's your imagination. I would say, "Okay, well, I'm going to sit in a chair there beside your bed, and I'll keep an eye on that closet for a while, just in case."
Yeah.
I'm gonna get my
That would be my new way of looking at it. Because the kids see stuff that we don't. So if they say there's a monster in the closet, could it be their imagination? Absolutely. Could it be maybe they're seeing something that we don't? That's actually possible as well.
It is, and that's that's the sadder part. A lot of people don't understand. Like when you're dealing with kids and seeing stuff, it's delicate, fragile.
Yes.
Especially when we had an investigation where they had kids that were younger than 14 involved.
Mm-hmm.
And you kind of feel bad for the parents because you're trying to prove something's there, but you're hoping you could debunk it all.
Yeah, to make them feel better. Because then when you do find something, then what do you do now? It's like, "Oh, sorry, we found something in your house. We just don't know how to get rid of it." That's not what we do. We don't get rid of entities as investigators. That's not what we do. We leave that to psychics, mediums, or other groups that kind of deal with this stuff. We just really don't do it. I know I've done. I'm partially Native American, so yeah. To make some, I remember one person we did an investigation for all the way out. I think it was in far country. This was like in the boondocks, and I did a smudging for him because he asked me, "Could you do it? It would make me feel better." I said, "Yeah." I'm not saying it's going to clear anything, but if it'll make you feel better, I'll do a smudging in the house. It's something that a lot of Native American cultures do, and they believe in it. I do believe in it in some kind of way that the sage can clarify some of that energy. So I did it for him, but it's not something that we as investigators do on a regular basis.
No, we smudged a few houses for people to help them out. They say it helped. It's just.
Yeah.
Worst case, once it gets to a certain level, you would call a Catholic priest. I've never gotten to that level yet.
No. You could call John Moore.
Yeah.
John Moore is more into like demonology, and that's more his field. And a lot of the times if I get an email and it deals with something like that, I recommend. I tell him, "Well, call John Moore from Montpellier. He's a demonologist, and he seems to deal more around that kind of field, and that's his specialty." So that's another way of helping each other out. If you know another group that does specific things, then you can recommend that group to that client and say maybe they're better to suited to give you a hand with whatever you're experiencing.
Yeah, I've got a luck of smelling the sulfur a couple times, and it's like, yeah, it's time to shut this down.
They do say there's a connection with the sulfur, right?
Yeah,
It smells bad. It's brimstone, and it's like hell.
yeah, that was at the Whispers Mansion, Whispers House in good old Mitchell, Indiana.
Oh yeah.
That actually is an unnerving place, and it's not been done on TV, which I don't know why.
I've actually never heard of it.
It's supposed to have a demon in it.
Okay. I'm surprised
So
Zach Baggins hasn't done it. There's a
I
demon.
am shocked because this one you hear whispering in your ears all night long.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was younger, I went. I was like, bullshit. I'm going. I mean, this is going to be great. I'm in this old house. It's creepy, but it's really nice inside. And yeah, sure as hell, like an hour into the night, I felt like somebody was talking in my ear. And it wasn't real loud voices. It was just
like a
just
little
like someone
whisper.
mumbling.
Yeah.
You had the hands on your shoulder. You could feel all night long like you're being touched.
Yeah.
And then, boy, I hit the upstairs and the sulfur dioxide was strong. And just that want to vomit, get me the hell out of the house. This is not natural gas.
Yeah.
And that feeling of I couldn't get out of there quick enough.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we've all had experiences like that where a certain place just kind of creeps us out. But I mean, we still have, as investigators, we have to keep our composure.
Yeah.
Because I mean, there's no point of us running away from it because we've been looking. It's like, be careful what you look for because if you find it, you're going to run, right?
Yeah.
But we're not supposed to run. But sometimes you get that feeling where you just want to leave. You just don't feel comfortable.
Yeah, I was young back then, but I just had that feeling something bad was going to happen that night to me.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess we got to follow our instincts sometimes as well, right?
Yeah.
So we have another comment here by Manik Mask Mason. So Manik, you said you investigated the Trinity Inn. Which group are you with, Manik? So she says Trinity Inn had two spirits, a very angry male spirit who lived in the basement. Yeah, I believe that. Utility room. Yes, I believe that. And a very nice young girl named Angel. Okay, you know what's weird, Manik? I think I do know the angry male. I had a kind of like an experience at Trinity with the angry male, but there was also an angry female, an elderly woman who lived on the top floor. That's the one that I think really kind of attached itself to me and tried to attack me, I guess you could say. And we did have an experience with a child in the basement. So, you know, maybe there is something there when you have two groups verifying the same kind of stuff. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
We can hear you.
Okay.
We can hear you.
It was like that uncomfortable moment of silence going like,
Oh, we're listening to you, man. We've never been to
so
the Trinity Inn, so I'd love to go.
I'd love to go. I'd love to go again. Like I said, I have a personal vendetta with that place. Not the place itself, but whatever was there and what the experience I had there. I have a score to settle, kind of. That's the way I look at it. So as soon as I ask, where's the inn? The inn is in Gananoque, Ontario, Selena. So Manik, what's the name of your team? Husband and I ran our own team. Oh, you don't have your own team anymore, Manik? What was the name of the team? Okay, and she also says here the top floor angry female. Yes, yeah, that's the one I encountered. I think it's the angry female on the top floor. Okay, so we're gonna go back. So guys, if you want to keep commenting, you want to ask some questions, I will try to get to your questions. So we're just gonna keep going with our little itinerary here. So our past investigations, I know there's still a lot to review. Did we capture anything that's really pertinent at this point? The investigations we've done together?
Well, there's a couple things. One thing I do say at the Heritage House Museum public investigation, there is a girl talking in the background on the stairwell when I was walking up it. One of those where it's kind of weird because it's not human conversation. It's a girl's voice, just kind of jargon.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard to say, as many people were in the place that night. 100% paranormal? No, but it's in the 80 realm.
Yeah.
This is an 80% chance, and the voice, it's creepy. It's a creepy EVP.
This was during the public investigation?
Yes.
Okay. And I guess that's where we become skeptical because there's so many people around that we wonder, could it be maybe some contamination from somebody talking or whispering in the background?
Yeah, it's a cool piece, but you have to present it like it is. It is what it is. There was 32 people in the place. I do have everybody's voice because we had everybody say their voice. No females' voices match that. But if somebody's talking like a baby girl,
Yeah.
so it's kind of like you got to ask everybody who's there, contact them and say, was this you just being silly? But the time, I've got a pretty good photographic memory. And that time it was me and a boy walking the stairs up together. With a person from Kingston that's in the Historical Society, I believe, was in the group.
Okay.
And it's creepy. And then the doll spoke to us a couple of times. The one that everybody was freaked out by. There was a couple of random voices that came out that you can't really explain.
Yeah, it's tough. Yeah, it's yeah, you got to be skeptical. But I mean, we do capture stuff, and but we still have a lot of reviewing to do from the past investigations we've done together.
The Toy Story. Let's talk about the doll. Let's talk about the playroom.
The doll from the Toy Story.
Oh, that was just playroom.
You don't have a picture on there. We could post her, that creepy doll.
No, I don't. We didn't.
We should have had a picture. That was a creepy doll. Like I said, this is something that Zach Baggins would be interested in to put in his museum for sure.
Yeah, long story short, Roger Miller, who was with our group, he's a great investigator, and he held the doll. Because Roger's a little more, when it comes to me and dolls, I will look at the doll, but I am not touching the damn thing.
I'm not touching the damn doll.
No. It's just a cute doll, but he held it. We took it out of its cage and he held it, and his hands emitted EMF for a long period of time afterwards. And that's not like it's not an electronic doll. It's not Roger could put on. He didn't have a watch on his hands. He didn't have a phone. He didn't have jewelry. So that was just, and the smile on his face, which, being investigating with him for years, I mean, the smile on his face was perfect that night because it was like, this is not normal. You can't.
Yeah. That was a creepy doll. It was a creepy doll.
So you have to look at the paint, is the paint lead based? What causes that? And that's something that like, I throw out to the public now is we got to find a scientist to explain that one.
Yeah. Yeah, that's very true.
But
there's something about dolls that it's just creepy.
It is. But I love that.
Movies have not done dolls, clowns, anything like that any favors. Because now they're all associated with creepy stuff.
But you know what was neat about that doll was every time we said doll at Nerve Center, the Eddie we said an Eddie next to it. And every time I said doll, it would light EMF. It would light EMF.
So that's not a coincidence, right?
No, that was not a coincidence with that one. So that's the first time I've met Robert the doll once, and he's amazing looking. That's about all I'll say. Don't pay your $10 to go see him because you'll be traumatized when you get in there.
I saw that's the doll from the Zach Baggins Museum, Albert the doll. He doesn't look that creepy, I think.
No, this is
or even the the one from The Conjuring. Yeah, Annabelle. She does. It's Raggedy Ann doll.
Yeah.
This is
it doesn't look creepy, but I mean, it's supposed to be.
Robert down in Key West. He's down in the Florida Keys in storage, and they got this sign: "Come see Robert the doll." And you go in, and Ozzy Osbourne and Jack. That was funny because they went in and had him, but you get to go in this room and see him. And the woman tells you if you disrespect the doll, you'll get in a car crash or die.
Oh, so. Shit. Yeah, that's the doll. I've seen it before on some of Zach Baggins' shows and his museum thing. Yeah, he doesn't look okay. Yeah, he looks a bit creepy.
Yeah, he looks awesome. Don't disrespect. Yeah. That's what they say. So but anyway,
I'm not gonna get in my truck tomorrow. Then forget it.
Oh no, I get there. This little old lady like Alf Poltergeist tells me if you disrespect that doll, you're gonna die. I'm like, what? And I look at the doll and I'm like, holy cow, he's cute.
I think we should start getting our own museum going of like every investigation we do. We should grab something from that investigation. Do the same thing. A Canadian version of the Zach Baggins Haunted Museum of Relics or something.
For sure.
Yeah, but who gets to keep it?
We can share.
No.
Yeah, we'll share.
We'll rent a place together and we'll start our own little museum.
I don't have enough stage.
That'd be something good for the glebe, the haunted museum of the glebe.
Yeah, the old houses there and stuff. That'd be perfect for little haunted items and stuff. So we have a comment here from Alex. So she had a team called Spirit Quest. So, but they're no longer in functioning right now, or they're not active at this point. So Some more comments here. Selena here. I don't want to miss anybody.
Thanks,
Housekeeping. And certain alarm clock, same room, always me, never anyone else makes me go, happened today, third time. Okay. Certain alarm clock, same room, always, never anyone else. So what's the alarm clock do, Selena?
Where's the location?
Where's the location?
You can private message that to us.
Yeah, you can private message
If it's a
you
hotel,
you know what I kind of.
I definitely want to rent the room.
Yeah.
Dave Gibb probably might want to go with us. If Dave's still here.
Oh, she says she just looks like you, Cheryl. Not enough sage.
Not enough
It just
sage.
beeps. She says the clock just beeps every time she goes in the room for some reason. It's kind of weird. I don't know. Could it be a malfunction? I don't know. It's a possibility, I guess.
All kinds of possibilities there.
Yeah. I mean, recently here in our house, I have a salt lamp in the window of my office, and it keeps randomly turning on. And I don't understand how or why. And the odd thing being that the previous owner passed away, and we're wondering if maybe we've got a visitor now.
Oh, okay. That's a possibility.
Yeah.
You know what's weird? Talking about clocks, I got to share this with you guys. Remember the movie Groundhog Day?
Yeah.
Groundhog Day with Bill Murray. I watched that at night. Okay, I had to go to work the next morning. So you're not gonna believe me. The next morning, the song that came up on the radio when my alarm clock went off, guess what it was? It was "I Got You, Babe." I was like sitting up in my bed looking around going, what the hell is going on? Am I about to repeat my day here? It was a coincidence. But it's like I woke up and went, holy shit, it's the song from Groundhog Day that's waking me up. That was so bizarre. Mind you, I did not repeat my day, so it was a total coincidence, but it kind of freaked me out a bit.
You know, it was a good tension breaker. It was 5 a.m. at Fort Henry. And my spirit box somehow locked onto a radio station to the Dire Straits Walk of Life.
Yeah.
And it went from paranormal investigation out the window to everybody dancing and laughing in the area, saying, what's the odds that the spirit box would just stop right when Walk of Life starts, you know?
Yeah, that's kind of weird. Yeah.
Ghost time.
That's the experiences we have. It's the experiences we have. So, okay. So I know we're already at an hour right now. And I mean, I love talking to you guys, and there's so many other comments here. I just hope I didn't skip over people's comments here. If I did, I do apologize. So now we have upcoming investigations. So we have, of course, we're going to plug it. Hold on there. Where is that thing? Banners. Where is it? Hold on. What happened there? Did I do something? Oh, there we go. What am I looking at here? Dun dun dun. Okay.
It's killing everybody.
Yeah. Okay. So guys, this is let me see if I can show it. Okay, so you can see in the background there. We have a live public investigation happening on Saturday, October 22nd at 8 p.m. This is going to be my team and in conjunction with Mark and Cheryl, the Nightwatchmen Investigative Team. And we are going, hold on, I'll show this here. Hold on, guys. I just want to see if I can show this. There we go. And I will do this here. No, that's not what I want to do. No, hold on. Let me. Okay, so we're doing that live public investigation at the library on the 22nd. Now, we're also going to do a kind of a little workshop question period thing between 3 and 5 as well.
Yes.
Yeah. For like, if you're under 18, you really don't need to be on an investigation because it hinders the people that really want to be there for that. So we decided to do a workshop for people that are younger, that are curious, such as junior high age, etc.
Mm-hmm.
We'll present some evidence we have that's not going to like send you away with screaming and running to your, hide with, stay up all night. So we're going to do a little 2-hour workshop, let people know about paranormal investigation, and let us ask questions one-on-one. What's your answers do you want to hear?
So go ahead, Mark.
Well, just letting people see our gear. We'll have some equipment set up, and you'll get to understand what we're going to do for the investigation later on that night.
Mm-hmm. So this with our 3 to 5 thing, that's going to be mostly for any age. That's going to be $10 to participate between 3 and 5, which is open to any age group. And unfortunately, the library requested that it be 18 plus for the investigation that starts at 8 p.m. at night.
Yeah, and at night will be the first investigation there, which is awesome. We went in and looked at it. The place looks like it should be in Ghostbusters' next movie. It's really
It is. I saw pictures on the inside, and I'm going, oh my God, that reminds me of that first scene where they see the old lady in the library. I go, oh my God, we're going in there like Ghostbusters.
Yeah, we don't know what we're going to find. I mean, there's legends, and we got a historian actually looking at it right now to see if we can prove or disprove.
Yeah.
Every old building, they say somebody fell down the stairs, broke their neck, and died. So that's
there's always something. Yeah. Well, somebody had mentioned as well that you had mentioned that somebody had not committed to it. Somebody had passed away in the building of something, either an accident or something like that.
Yeah, I firmly believe so. Yeah, there's a man on the top floor
that fell to his death.
Yeah.
Or something like that. Okay, so there's some stuff. There's potential, some kind of history, there's potential activity. I mean, I've tried to do some research on it, but I haven't found anything online as far as people reporting any kind of activity or any kind of traumatic events that happened at the library in the past.
Yeah, she said they were goofing around last fall and found a cold spot downstairs in the corner.
Mm-hmm.
But, we'll take during that investigation. What's going to be nice for people to understand is we'll enjoy the cold spot, but then we'll start taking measurements and looking at the windows, looking for drafts, looking for the vents. That's the fun part. But I like this because we have no idea what we're going to get into.
Because because now we have no stories. So we can't, subliminally, we can't make stuff up, or we can't be manipulated, like unbiased or be biased towards something, because we don't know any of the stories there. So whatever we come up with at the library, because we are the first first teams jointly together, the Ghost and Nightwatchmen in a merger, I guess we could say, we are the first ones investigating the library ever. So we are the first ones in there.
Yeah, and that's going to be fun. And at the end of the day, I want everybody to understand 100% of the proceeds do not go to us. So we're not making money off this. This all goes to the library. And those books cost $60 to $100 now. Some of them more.
Yeah.
So giving them a few $100s out of our event, it could be the difference of them getting some new books that kids can enjoy and future people can use. That's really what makes me feel good.
Yeah. And we do this at no cost to the library. All the money that they raise goes to the library directly. And we're doing this to help these historical places to raise money to stay open and to keep doing what they're doing. So we do this out of our own time, and we don't make any money at all at this.
No.
Well, and that's part of our mission too, is so future paranormal, if you're 25 years old and got a paranormal group, I'm going to tell you, you're going to need one of us old people with you to even get in the door.
Yeah.
So if we leave there with a good impression, maybe those teams in the future, Dan, I mean, anybody will tell you when you go to negotiate going in a place, it's not a 1 minute conversation. It's usually
it's
5 of them.
There's a lot of stuff that goes on in trying to get into these locations. But I mean, I think it'll be nice to have a workshop between 3 and 5 and actually have kids that are a little younger to actually see some of the equipment we use. Hopefully I'll have base set up at that point, because we can start setting up early in the day. So the kids can sit at base, they can look at the camera, or kids or teenagers, and they can, play around with the equipment a little bit before we start investigation at 8 o'clock. So this is going to be like an open door for them, a workshop for the younger people, so they can actually what it is we do, what type of equipment we use, and how we do it.
Yeah.
And try to set them in the right path, right? Like
Exactly.
at least go in that direction.
Yeah, give people kind of a general overview of what it should be like, not what it shouldn't be,
Mm-hmm. Exactly. You want to steer them in the right direction. Unfortunately, they won't be able to participate in the investigation at 8 o'clock. So anybody who's still listening in, get your tickets by contacting the Smith Falls Public Library, either by phone, email, or contact them on Facebook. Get your tickets now. This is happening next weekend, which will be Saturday, October 22nd. There's going to be our Halloween event at the Smith Falls Public Library. Get your tickets. $60 for the investigation, $10 for the workshop between 3 and 5. If you want to do both, obviously that's going to be a combination of $70 to do everything, including the workshop and the public investigation. Now, this investigation is not going to go on too late, as far as I understand. Mark and Cheryl?
No, we're going to cut it off around 11, unless something. If the books start dancing around on the shelves, we're staying.
We're staying there till 6 a.m. If
Yeah,
they let us.
When I talked to them, I was like, if the books start moving around, we're staying. And they're like, yeah, we are. So
yeah, well, I'm sure whoever's going to be chaperoning us that day, they're going to want to stick around as well if books start dancing off the shelves.
Yeah, definitely.
I will tell you, when you investigate with us, and what's fun about us is we don't mess around. When it's time to start, we're going to split groups and go.
Yeah, and we're going to investigate, and they're going to get to use the equipment and see how it's supposed to be used. I would say.
Yeah.
Well, 5 hours into this, you're going to be tired.
Oh yeah, we get tired when we do the long investigations as well. I mean, and we have experience, so somebody doesn't have experience. Well, for them, I guess it's more new. It's a fun thing. It's something new for them. So maybe it's a little less hard for somebody who's new to it, because it's exhilarating to try all this new stuff. For us, as we've been doing it for so long, after the 5-6 hours, I'm getting a little tired.
Yeah, and that's true. But the nice part is, if anybody wanted to become a paranormal investigator in the future, this would be one you can say, I was the first one in the library. The first people that investigated this place.
Well, I'm hoping we find some interesting stuff at the library. That this would be kind of cool to be the first one to actually capture some kind of paranormal activity at the library. Now, I'm still going to try to do some research this week, see if I can find, if people are listening in, if you guys know about the Smith Falls Public Library and you know of any people that have had experiences there or have any stories, you can share those on our Facebook page and let us know about them. Mind you, do we want to know about them, Mark? You think that's going to make us a little bit biased? Make us biased if we know about the stories going on? Should we not know?
I don't want to be biased. Email them to the library. Actually, email them to you, or I don't know what we should do. If you got any stories,
I don't know if I want to know the stories, because I want to make sure that what I'm going to experience is something that it's not because I've heard about it or it's a story I've read about it. Because we know nothing about nothing about the library as far as having any paranormal activity in the past, except there's been a few traumatic events that occurred there, which is something where paranormal activity can be produced by that. But I don't know if I'd want to know.
It's something we always like. I don't like knowing anything about any location I go to, because it does set up. Like you talked about an experiment. I would love to find a place to allow us to do this. I would love to have 5 people go with me and let me tell them about how many people were slaughtered, murdered, pillaged, everything in this place. And you take the other 5 people and you tell them this place is not haunted. And then you start the investigation and you got 5 people having a horrible night.
Yeah.
And then 5 people look at those 5 people saying, what's going on?
That's
what I've always wanted to do.
Yeah, and it's kind of like we had talked about this before, the Philadelphia, I think it was called the Philadelphia experiment, where they people started manifesting their own ghost, their own characters and everything. And these were fictitious characters, but they were still saying they were communicating with these fictitious characters. So it's kind of weird how the human brain can work. And that's why sometimes, I wonder, when we go into a location, should we know the history of it or should we not? Just because we might manifest something because we already know. If somebody says there's a 90-year-old man that fell to his death down the stairs and he was the caretaker, well, we may manifest, or our brains may manifest something because we know of that story.
Yeah, we're not going to tell the people that night that the guy fell down the stairs unless I have proof. If I don't have proof, I'm not going to just say, yeah, a guy fell down the stairs and died, because that kicks you into being like a guy fell down the stairs and died all night.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the fun part is I like with Haunted Ottawa, I actually went to the Bytown Museum, and that was pretty funny, because I just stopped and I said, Darcy McGee's here. And the lady that owned the museum, that worked the museum, not the owner, she laughed. She goes, "It's death handprints are right where you're standing." I'm like, "What?"
Death handprints?
Yeah, they actually had his molds of his hands are in the
Oh, okay, yeah.
in
Yeah.
a case.
I've never actually been to the Bytown Museum.
It's fun.
Yeah.
It's a great night. It's a good one to get in. Playful spirit. You go there during the day, and I guarantee you'll feel like you're being followed the whole time you're there.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't mind actually doing that location because I've never done it before.
Yeah, I want to get into.
Yeah, there's a lot of places we want to get into.
Oh God, is there ever?
But it's a secret.
It's it is. It's one of those things, you know, somebody works there and they're into the paranormal, so they want us there, and
Yeah.
then they move on to college or they go somewhere else, and then you can't get in.
Mhm.
You run into it with a lot of places. You know, some
Yeah.
people believe it, and some people just like, you're crazy.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we get frowned on by a lot of people. Like we're just a bunch of nut bars and whatever else.
Yeah,
But again, this is mostly from people that are non-believers, right?
yeah. It's
Yeah.
it's fun, but I do like, back to the subject, I guess, because ADHD kicked in. Yeah.
I didn't know you were ADHD.
Oh
Mark.
yeah, it's hard sometimes, man.
It's okay. I'm
Score goes,
OCD.
but it's
I'm OCD. Everything has to be perfect.
right.
Okay,
So
so
you
go
know,
ahead.
when you go on a site, you go investigate a site, and somebody tells you John Smith died in the corner with a candlestick. You're gonna go over and be like, John Smith. I mean, if you get a hit, they're
Yeah.
like, it's John Smith, and I'm like, until it tells me on an EVP that, hey, Mark, it's John Smith here, then I'm going to be like, that's pretty creepy. Who's
Yeah.
John Smith? That's better to me.
Yeah.
You know,
But it would have to
and
be
if-
a
if
clear.
I-
It would have to be a clear EVP.
Oh, absolutely.
yeah, and I mean, if I pass away and I'm a spirit, I might just mess with the investigator and be like, sure, John Smith. Yeah, I'm here. You know, you don't know who you're talking to. Yeah, and that's really the truth. You don't know.
You don't know because they could
anything.
just be pretending as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I do say if I ever become back as a ghost, I'll be wearing parachute pants with the blue mohawk.
Blue mohawk. I'll be sure that if you pass away before me and I do an investigation, I'll be looking for that blue mohawk, Mark.
Well, I won't be a lady in a white dress or a guy in a black top hat.
As long as it's not leotards, I'm okay with that.
Because
Because leotards, that might traumatize me just a little bit.
almost every investigation, somebody says, I just saw a lady in a white dress. I'm like, that's good. Okay.
Yeah, that's
we're in
good.
the-
Yeah.
we're in
From
the
the 1800s. Yeah.
Where's the hippie? Where's the hippie in the sandals, man?
Yeah, I know. How come nobody ever sees a ghost of of somebody with a baseball cap? You know, it seems like it's always somebody from the 1800s. But then again, a lot of the places we investigate are older places that date back to those years. So maybe that's the reason. But yeah, you never hear about, just normal, millennial 2000, 1990s, 1980s people dress. It's always a ghost with some kind of 19th century kind of clothing.
No, for sure. That's the fun part about it. It's kind of like, oh my God, that's real good. I love my favorite ones are the English psychics. If you ever watch those, I love watching those shows because they're funny.
The English,
because they're always like, I got punched.
You got what?
Yeah, most haunted. Yvette
Oh,
Fielding and
yeah,
them,
I remember that one. Yeah, the medium that talks to people. He's always looking at. Oh, what'd you say? And he's talking to spirits. Wasn't he?
Yes.
Wasn't it a fraud at one point? And it was wasn't that on the
Yeah,
news
they
or
got
something?
busted for being a fraud.
For being a fraud. Okay, and
Yeah,
that's
but
terrible though.
But it's fun to watch. That's
It's
what I always
fun.
like. I was like, these
It's
are
fun.
cool locations.
Yeah, because we do the real thing, so it's kind of boring to watch because we do real investigating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, we get to sit there and watch.
No,
the
it's not
episode
boring.
of-
It's not boring. It's not
Yeah,
boring.
that's
We don't do
cool.
boring stuff. We entertain. We investigate, but we entertain as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad Brandon, I'm glad you're going to be tuning in, by the way. No,
Yeah,
Justin Bieber.
Brandon checks us out all the time. So he says,
Oh,
no Justin Bieber looking people haunting relatively new apartment buildings.
Right. Right.
Yeah, I think if I see the ghost of Justin Bieber, I'd be pretty spooked out.
Yeah. I'd like to see
A
one
lot
of
of
those
the
90s
baseball cap
gangster rap.
sideways with the bling bling
Yeah.
and stuff, and driving his Lamborghini or something. I don't know. I just saw Justin Bieber driving his Lamborghini. Yeah.
That'd be something to be great, man.
Yeah. And I think Brandon liked that comment. Brandon checks us out all the time. Thanks for tuning in, Brandon. By the way, love having you on the in the comment section every time. Okay, so we're at an hour 18 minutes. We're overboard again. I'm starting to get a little tired. I haven't eaten supper yet, and I think you guys are getting tired as well. So again, we are together on Saturday, October 22nd for a 3 to 5 p.m. workshop, which is open to any age group, and then a public investigation starting at 8 p.m. for 18 plus. This is the public library, Smith Falls Public Library in Smith Falls, of course. So get your tickets. Tickets are $60 for the public investigation. Get your tickets for the workshop, which is $10. Get both for $70, and then you get a full workshop and a public investigation that will probably go on until 11 or so, depending on the activity.
Yeah, depending on the activity. And anybody wants to stay over and help us tear down, you're welcome to enjoy that too.
I don't think we're going to get a lot of volunteers.
No, that's what I say. It's the best part.
Yeah. We'll pay them. So we refund them their money. Okay, here's your money back. Just help us tear down. No, the money goes to the library. It doesn't go to us anyways.
Yeah.
You want to see the whole investigation?
You want to see the whole investigation? Yeah, come set up and then come take down. That's what a whole It is, though. People need to know this stuff. I mean, when you do an investigation, some people say you just go in with a recorder and a camera and that's good enough. I mean, I prefer to have all bases covered, right? So use everything that we have at our disposal to try to capture evidence, whether they're instruments that are proven in the field or not. I'd rather try them, have them, not need them, than need them, not have them. Let's try it out, see if they do work. And this is something I've always done on my sides. I've always not just investigated location or try to find ghosts or spirits or entities, but it's also testing the equipment. It's like putting him to the test and say, listen, does this really work? Can you really, capture can a ghost really fire off an EMF meter? But you need something else to back it up, either a piece of video evidence or a piece of audio evidence that can correlate with the EMF spike. So yeah, I like testing the equipment as well. I mean, I just like to just try everything, right? So there's a lot of setup. There's a DVR setup. There's a base setup. There's so much equipment. And I think with the way we, both our teams set up our equipment, I think people are going to get a really good view of what it is to be a paranormal investigator and how much effort goes into it and how much time we have to put into it to actually do an investigation, a thorough investigation. And people need to understand that.
Yeah, it's not just suddenly everything happens and it's wonderful. It's about, this will be about a 2.5 hour setup going in to start the investigation.
Yeah. Well, we're going to be starting our setup, I think, around noon or something like that. I think on Saturday.
Yeah, around noon to 1 o'clock, we'll be setting up there.
Okay.
They'll just be in hiding cords. Public investigations. The other problem is, people love investigating with me because I don't hide cords when it's not a public. I just tell people, if you ruin my camera, okay, I get it. It happens.
Yeah, it happens. I mean, that's part of what we do, right? And we've had plenty of equipment get ruined over the years. I know that.
Oh, absolutely. I've gone through 4 sets of cables already, in 2 years.
And actually, Brandon was actually just asking that question. How long does it roughly take to set up and tear down? It's about 3 hours, I'd say. Set up and tear down takes a little less time, maybe.
Yeah, non-public investigation, my DVR running in 40 minutes with Cheryl. Mm-hmm. If I get a third person, we could do it in 20. I think our record was 15 at Fort Henry.
Yeah.
Because we had it down to a science there where we were going.
Well, when we set up at the Heritage House, we were like right on cue. Like we set it up. Yeah, we were up and running right on time. And it really didn't take us long to set everything. I mean, we had a very elaborate setup at the Heritage House.
Yeah, we did. And, we'll be having that in November too, probably again too. We're finalizing a date there as well. But right now we're concentrating on the library. There will be more stuff coming next year. For sure. We have a bunch of locations that are lined up right now that we're negotiating with right now. I would also like to say to the couple that's former investigators, we're looking at a place in Buffalo, New York. If you're interested in that, it's expensive for us, so we would look for other people that have done this to go.
Okay, are you talking about Monique from the Spirit Quest group from earlier?
Yeah.
Okay, hopefully she'll hear that you mentioned that.
Yeah, because it's interesting. This when we rent out, like in the U.S., you do the conversion. The place is $900 US a night. That's about $1,400, and driving and hotels and square footage is big enough. No one's going to trip over each other, but we do need other teams to go with us.
Yeah.
It just helps lower the cost. You
Yeah.
know, the event.
It's an expensive to do paranormal investigating. It's an expensive venture. I mean, there's a lot of time and money and equipment put into it. And then when you go to investigate certain locations, I mean, you have to pay for hotels, you have to pay for a place to stay. There's gas, there's a lot of expenses. Sometimes you get lucky, like, you if you investigate inns and stuff like that, sometimes the groups will get rooms to stay in. Like when we
Free
did the
room.
Willow Inn, that was like oh my god, that was like the Cadillac of investigations. We all had our own rooms, our own showers, like everything was so cool. The place was closed down because they were renovating. It was like the dream investigation to Willow Inn. That was one of the greatest experiences I've had as far as a location and how comfortable we were.
Oh, for sure.
Spoiled. We were spoiled.
Spoiled.
Yes.
That's spoiled. Yeah. Like,
But it doesn't happen all the time.
Fort Henry, you get a mattress on a wood slab, and it's comfy.
Yeah.
But
Well,
you're
even the
tired.
Ottawa Jail Hostel is not too bad. At least you can sleep on death row. Mind you, the cells are so small. You're talking like you're a 4-foot section, and you just have enough room to lie down. But it's still a decent bed, someplace you can lie down, rest. You don't have to tear down that night. You can actually just rest and then tear down in the morning.
Yeah.
So, some locations are good, some locations are bad.
Yeah. Teardown could go anywhere.
Well, not bad, but I mean they're less convenient.
Yeah. Teardown could be 15 minutes to 2 hours. I could tell you.
It depends on how much we drag our feet and how tired we are.
Yeah. Or like the Heritage Hospital, Lisa, love you. It's out of the way. We'll get it tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, she was nice, Lisa, to actually let us come in on Sunday and just kind of let us go home,
Thanks,
rest, and then come back the next day. Yeah. Thank you, Lisa, just for letting us take down the day after. That's Lisa, the manager at the Heritage Museum. Okay, guys, I'm not going to keep you any longer. I can be a bit of a chattermouth sometimes.
That's all right. We are too. I'm having fun. So.
That's why. And Anna Mora is just tuning in, and we're just tuning out. Hi, Anna. Thanks for joining, but we're about to tune out for tonight. We've been on for about an hour and a half. So thanks again for tuning in either way, but we are logging off for now. Okay, guys. So I'm gonna let you guys go, and then I'll shut the show down. So we will have a little chat on, I guess, October 20th to discuss the particulars and details of the public investigation on October 22nd. And I will see you guys Saturday morning on the 22nd.
All right.
Okay. Okay, guys.
Thanks for coming out, everybody. I appreciate everybody taking their time on Friday to hang out with us.
Yeah. And come see Cheryl and Mark. You're going to love their way of investigating. We're a great group together. We work well together. Definitely worth the cost of the public and the workshop. You guys are definitely going to enjoy it. Mark and Cheryl are great investigators, and we're going to have a blast.
And one more thing, we love to convert skeptics into believers, which we did the last time. So
yes, that's part of our. That is our goal.
Yes.
Okay, guys. So have a good night. Thanks again for talking to me on the Ghost Talk show once again, and I'll see you guys next Saturday.
All right, Dan.
All right.
Have a good night,
guys. You too. Have a good night.
Bye.
Bye. All right, guys, that was Mark and Cheryl from the Nightwatchmen Investigative Team. I've been, myself, Mateo, and Lawrence have been cooperating with Mark and Cheryl quite often on many investigations, some private locations, some businesses, and so on and so on. Bye, Anna. Sorry, you tuned in a little bit late, but we're logging off. But I will be doing Ghost Talk shows more regularly now that summer's over and not so busy. So tune in on the next Ghost Talk show, which will be posted on our Facebook page. Thanks again to everybody who actually tuned in tonight. Brandon, Selena, Rhiannon, Jose, Heath, Dave, Gibb from Chaps. I actually kind of piped him a couple of times. And my Nick from... I think it was Spirit Quest, they're mediums, and they tuned into our show. Margaret, Brandon again, and so on and so on. So if I missed anybody, I do apologize. Okay, so I'm going to end the show tonight. So again, I'm going to mention one more time, we are doing a public investigation / workshop on October 22nd at the Smith Falls Public Library. Tickets are $10 for the workshop, which is from 3 to 5. excuse me, and then $60 for the public investigation, which would go around 8 till 11, and might go a little later if it's a little active and people are having a great time. They might let us go a little later. We're kind of going to wing it at that point and find out how it goes. So $60 for the paranormal investigation, $10 for the workshop. If you want to do both, it'd be $70. Both our teams, my team and Mark Cheryl's team, the Nightwatchmen, we don't make any money at this at all. All the proceeds go to the Smith Falls Public Library, so we can help them stay open, keep doing what they're doing, providing a service to their community, and it's something that we love helping them with to do this. Okay, so guys, have a good night. Thanks again for tuning in to the Ghost Talk Show. I'm not sure when the next one's going to be, but they're always on Fridays now. I used to do on Saturdays, but Friday is a little bit better for me. So I'm going to have some more guests popping up on the Ghost Talk shows, different investigators, different people. So keep checking out our Facebook page to get updates on these Ghost Talk shows. And I will see you all hopefully next Saturday at the Smith Falls Public Library for a workshop and public investigation. Have a great night, guys, and thanks for tuning in. Lights out.